as far as their techniques go, if I'm Volkov, I want to keep this guy at a distance as much as I can. So I'm working on my straight punches, my jabs and crosses, and my front kicks to the midsection, which, we saw him use that really well against Walt Harris. Damaged him with those body shots, took the fight out of him. And then with Overeem, we saw, although he was pressuring, Overeem wasn't able to really get to him. It was pressure behind long punches, but long punches that were still too far away from Overeem to get around. And this is the thing with Rozenstruik. Yes, he's a great striker, but if he can't land his counter shots, that's a different thing altogether. And what we know about Rozenstruik is that, of course, his counter left hook is a problem. We saw that against Arlovski. But counter hooks aren't very easy to land on tall people. You want some about the same height as you, so as they move into your range, you can move back and check it. If you're looking to check them with a counter hook as they're moving forward and they've got really long arms, they might crack you with a straight right before your punch even lands. And these are the issues that Rozenstruik's got to negotiate, as well as the front kicks to the midsection. If I'm Rozenstruik, I'm looking to slip and get past those shots, and then I'm in a closer range. That's when I'm working my overhands and my left hooks and my low kicks. And I am chopping that lead leg of Volkov to bits because, of course, he's a tall guy. If I can take away some of his movement, it's going to be easier for me to get in and out. It also makes it more difficult for Volkov to step on that lead leg to throw his straight punches if it is damaged. So with the power that Rozenstruik's got in his hands and his feet, I think that would be a real smart investment. Work on that lead leg, do damage to it, and then start throwing bombs over the top. And to be patient, to work into the later rounds is going to be good for Volkov as well. Is going to be good for Rozenstruik as well. Volkov is playing a dangerous game all the time. And in the Derek Lewis fight, we saw him play a dangerous game very well for the best part of 3 rounds until Derek Lewis threw that bomb over the top. Lewis isn't the most accurate or technical of strikers, but he does have power. Rozenstruik is a technical and accurate fighter, and he has power. So I would say if Derek Lewis can do it at some point in 3 rounds, Rozenstruik can definitely do it at some point in 5 rounds. The right hand over the top, I feel like, is going to be key to him, especially if he's already weak in that lead leg. It's going to make it difficult for Volkov to get away from. But what we might find, very similar to when Rozenstruik has fought good strikers. The Cyril Gam fight, Cyril wasn't there to be touched. He was in and out. He was too quick on his feet. But then Overeem was constantly in motion, very difficult to pin down. And what was it, 4 seconds before the end of the fight in the 5th round, and he cracked him with a shot that about split his face in two. As long as he's patient in this one and he doesn't get frustrated by getting eaten up on the outside by Volkov's picking techniques, I think he can withstand the majority of what Volkov is going to do to him. Not necessarily because Volkov doesn't have power, because of course he does. He is a dangerous individual, does have heavy hands, has got some good stoppages on his record. That stoppage of Overeem, the Walt Harris body kick, of course. But I feel like Rozenstruik's defense and his awareness of the striking range is going to keep him safe. And I think if he's able to defend those strikes, then he can get close and start landing bombs. But if Volkov comes in shape, and if he comes in to stay on his toes and he doesn't take too much damage to that lead leg, he might be able to just coast this one to a decision and never get close enough for Rozenstruik to crack him. He is in need of a win, Volkov, because that arm lock against Tom Aspinall has really slowed his progress down towards the belt. Of course, the Cyril Gam fight did as well, but that was right up at the top of the division, and that was a 5-round decision that he lost there. Tom Aspinall blasted through him. He didn't land a good shot on Aspinall, and he couldn't stop his takedown when he decided to put him on the floor. This is going to be a different fight. This is going to be a far more steady, slow-paced fight. Rozenstruik doesn't blitz forward like a crazy man. He's patient, he walks people down, and he plays kickboxing with them. And that slow, steady pace is where Volkov can keep backing up and finding angles and jabbing him and backing up. Front kick. Keep working him as he's moving into range and then moving out of range before it becomes Rozenstruik's range. Think about it. You've got, of course, there's a 2-inch reach advantage, which is not a great deal. But with Volkov being 5 inches taller and most of that height being in his legs, Rozenstruik might constantly find himself walking onto that front kick. So before he even gets into a range where he can land, he's already been jammed and stopped. Then Volkov moves away. These are problems that could see him having all the way through the night. It's just, this is 25 minutes, which means that there's a lot of time for Rozenstruik to get around that lead leg, get around those straight punches, and get close to him. And you know, think about this. If Volkov lands a good front kick to the midsection of Rozenstruik and he backs up and he looks like he's hurt, that's when Volkov closes into close range and starts working his hooks and his uppercuts and his knees. Even if he gets that clinch, starts throwing knees, Rozenstruik with those short shots around the sides of the Thai clinch or up the centre, they might be enough to take his legs away as well.